Success is never final and failure is never fatal. But the courage to succeed is what matters. What does it count? Yeah.
True, ma'am.
So today we have two courageous young ladies who has undertaken the adventurous journey of civil service examination, and they have come out with flying colors. So I have Miss Chahat Bajpai, who has secured All India rank 59, and Khusboo Gupta, who has secured All India rank 80. Congratulations to both of you.
Thank
and
you.
welcome here, Khushboo and Chahat.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
And it's a complete women team, all women empowerment here.
Completely.
Yeah, and this year many women candidates have qualified.
made it to the list.
Yeah, they have made
True,
it to the
true.
list.
Yes. So the
That's
ratio is
a-
increasing. That
The
is
ratio
good
is
thing.
every year it is increasing, and it's a good trend.
Positive
Yes,
development.
it's a very positive development. Yes. So Chahat and Khushboo, both of you are engineers.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
one, and both of you are from IITs. One is Chahat is from IIT Kanpur, and Khushboo is from IIT Delhi.
Yes, ma'am.
And Chahat has done her BTech in electrical engineering, and Khushboo has done it in computer science.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
And both of you are okay. Chahat is passed out in 2016.
But we are like same batchmates because
we entered in 2012.
12.
Mine
Okay.
was a 5-year program.
5-year.
Okay, you had an integrated
Yes,
program.
ma'am.
And Khushboo also, she passed out in 2017 because it was a dual degree.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Chahat, first tell me one thing. You are an engineer and you continued with engineering as an optional. Many of the engineers fear about this. So how is your experience of engineering as an optional?
Ma'am, my like academic record in college was quite good, and therefore engineering as an optional came very naturally to me. Although it is true that it was certainly not at all easy, because managing time with an engineering optional, technical optional, is certainly very difficult, because the entirely different time has to be devoted and it contributes nothing to the GS part. But I think and at the same time, like now some coaching assistance is available at NEXTIAS, but otherwise it was not available. So entire effort has to be put in from an individual side. Like I had to study 14 books, made notes, and all those things. So certainly, ma'am, it was difficult. But I would say that when the return comes, then the technical optionals certainly score much higher.
Yes. And electrical was your optional. So did you go for some kind of a test series?
Yes, ma'am. I took test series at NEXTIAS.
Okay. So were they helpful?
Yes, certainly, because they helped me like to put my preparation in some systematic manner and take test. Although I should have if I had taken more number of tests, I could not attempt all the tests. However, they were really helpful. Like practicing the questions in time-bound manner, that's the benefit we get.
And Khushboo, you had opted for mathematics.
Yes, ma'am.
And this year mathematics is doing really
Wonderful.
good, wonderful. Yeah,
Yes,
many
ma'am.
people in the top 100 are from mathematics.
Yes, ma'am.
So why did you opt for mathematics?
Ma'am, I think I was always interested in mathematics in my secondary as well as senior secondary education. And when I was asked to choose an optional, so everybody suggested me that you should go for an optional where investing time would also get you returns. So though mathematics has a very lengthy syllabus and very lengthy topics, but I feel that the returns are also higher. So if you invest your time, or if you let go few marks of your GS because of the time devoted to mathematics, you gain that marks in mathematics. And that is why I think I opted for it. Moreover, I think there was some overlap with computer science engineering also. So I did my elective courses in mathematics at IIT Delhi. So I think that also helped me.
Okay, both of you are from prestigious institute IIT. So how this idea of coming to civil service and not going for placements and not joining companies?
A similar type of question was asked to me in the interview, and I just told
UPSC board.
Yes, ma'am, and in the actual interview, and I told Sujata Mehta ma'am that it was my childhood dream. IIT, going to an IIT was like a part of that journey, and it actually added a lot to my personality. I must admit that. But coming to civil services was something that I always wanted to do.
You are from Gwalior.
Yes.
So you have done your studies from Gwalior only?
Actually, ma'am, earlier my father was posted in Guna, and I had done my schooling from a small town, Raghugarh. And in 11th and 12th standard, I moved to college.
So you said it's your childhood dream. So how this idea of civil services came to your mind? Is there somebody from your family into the services?
No, ma'am. Like, I'm the first in my long family to
First
clear
generation.
Yes, ma'am. First generation.
Civil servant.
So actually, but the place where I lived, that there were many government offices, and the atmosphere was like that. And at times, I often heard about like cases of corruption and all. So that always, like, even when I didn't actually understood who an IAS officer is, but I always wanted to work in the government. And I, as a child, I always used to think that when I'll go in the government, I'll work honestly. So like that feeling, that bud that came up in the childhood, I think that continued.
And about you, Khushboo, you are from a place called Barnala
Yes,
in
ma'am.
Punjab.
Yes, ma'am.
So how this idea of civil services came to your mind?
So my family always wanted me to be in government, to become a civil servant, but I never got into that idea. So during my, I think, degree persuasion, I went for an internship. So during my internship is when I think this idea struck me that I'm not someone who can, just sit in a cubicle, do the work for next 30 or 40 years. So at that time, I think I actually write down with a pen and copy that, what I want to do in my life, what do I ultimately want, that after 30-40 years should I be there. And ultimately what I got from that was that I wanted to be someone who is working for the society's welfare in whatever way. And I think at that point of the time, civil services is what
Came to your mind.
Yes. So I think that's why I wanted to do that.
Okay. So civil service, it's like your third attempt?
My second attempt.
Second attempt, and it's
Third
your
attempt.
third attempt. So 2 years and 3 years of the journey. It's a long period, yeah?
It is.
It has its own highs and lows.
Very much.
So how did you cope up with that? Because never it came to your mind that this is something wrong that I have chosen, the path is difficult.
I think this idea comes every 15 days.
Okay.
So, especially for me, since I belong to a very small town and I had never been interested in, general studies, polity, history, I was never interested in these subjects. So for me, it was like, okay, you have chosen a wrong dream, or maybe your dream is too big for you. So you belong to a small town, you should have small dreams, something like that.
But let me tell you, people from small town are making it to the list. Yes.
I'm very happy about that actually.
Yes.
So, but that idea was always there that, maybe, so when I failed in my first mains, I started questioning myself that will you ever clear the service? You might get into interview stage or something, but you will never be in that PDF. So I always told to myself. But then I think what I did was I took it very stepwise manner. For example, when I was taking my prelims, so I never thought about mains or interview. So I just focused on pre, that okay, this is the only thing that I have to clear. So when the main stage came, only those 4 months mattered to me. Nothing else, like what happened after that mains, interview, nothing else. So I just focused on that mains, focused my best on answer writing and everything. And I think that helped me by taking small goals at a time.
And I think, ma'am, to some extent that the platform to do public service, along with an excellent career opportunity that the civil services provide, one would find nowhere else. And I think that is something, if one remembers, and that
So you
would
have to
act as a
remind yourself
motivating
about
point,
that.
So this is your third attempt, this is your second attempt. So I think you are the ideal people to tell us about your strategy for prelims.
Ma'am, I was able to clear prelims in all 3 of my attempts, fortunately. And to some extent, I think there are some things that I did every year, like every years. Firstly, I devoted 40 days before prelims specifically to prelims, and I joined one test series and attempted as many tests I can. Last year, like, I was able to clear forest cutoff also, and I think something that really worked was that I did a lot of reverse engineering of the prelims paper. Like every year there is question about some international institutions. There are some questions about missiles and defense thing. There are some questions regarding space technology. So there are some questions regarding reports, various reports. So there are actually a lot of questions which we can guess and we can specifically prepare accordingly.
They're asking question on indices also.
Yes, ma'am.
Every year.
And to some extent, I think one mistake that I had been doing earlier was that every time when I scored low marks on any test series, I would tell myself that I'm not fully prepared and therefore I need to prepare myself better. Rather, after a stage, you're already prepared, and you should like try to find out an answer from the four options that is there. You don't have to actually remember and memorize everything, but answer can be found out from the question itself. Last year, one topper, I think rank 18, and he told that using the word origin and the meaning of the words in which are there in the question or in the options, one can actually guess an answer. So that thing also worked to some extent.
Because this GS syllabus is everything under the sun. You cannot mug up everything.
Exactly.
You need to have a kind of intelligence
guesswork.
That needs to be done.
Intelligence guessing, not random guessing. That should never be the strategy.
But that also comes with your conceptual clarity.
Yes, completely.
That is there.
True.
And what was your strategy?
I think I also cleared prelims in both of my attempts. What worked for me was I rather devoted 3 complete months to the prelims preparation, because since I was doing it with my graduation, so it wasn't possible for me to focus on mains also. So I devoted completely 3 months both of the times to prelims. I made a proper schedule. So before those 3 months, I remember on every 1st of the March, there was a schedule that was pasted on my table. So that schedule would be like first revision would have to be completed in 45 days with all the subject-wise tests, with all like say 5 days to polity, 6 days to environment, something like that. Then the next revision in 20 days, then the next in 15 days, then the next in 5 days. So I would ensure that I have 4 complete revisions along with a lot of tests, and I think that is what worked for me.
Khushboo, did you prepare for your prelims and then for your mains? There was not complete integrated preparation?
I think in my first attempt there wasn't, because I didn't get much time to integrate it. But I wouldn't suggest it though, because see, mains is very much integrated with the prelims, and moreover the pattern is changing. So the pattern of mains is coming into the prelims, and the pattern of prelims and shifting to mains. So you can't be just very choosy about it, that no, this is prelims, this is mains, or this is interview even. So you have to have those opinions about the things, you have to those ideas about the things. So I think it's more of a
UPSC preparation can never be done in silos.
No, it can't be.
It has to be
and
integrated.
Moreover, after prelims, like there are only hardly 3 months.
3 or 4
This time they have even reduced the time. So like one cannot completely go for mains after giving prelims.
And then फिर आपकी mains की strategy कैसी रही? Because mains is a completely different paper. You have to write.
I think like I was not able to clear mains in earlier 2 attempts, mainly because मैं कुछ बहुत ऐसे fundamental mistakes कर रही थी, like sticking to the syllabus. मतलब मेरा जो notes थे और वो syllabus के according नहीं थे, and I was missing out on certain parts. Like मैंने society governance को ऐसे specifically कभी prepare ही नहीं किया, which I corrected in this attempt, and I think my GS score would have definitely improved. And second thing, मतलब जो test series है, I was not learning anything from them. I gave a test, and whatever marks I got, and I'll just see, okay, whatever marks I got. Rather, this time I evaluated my test paper myself, and I had made a specific separate notebook for like evaluation. And for each part, I was writing my own feedback that what I have to improve as according to me. Because we cannot completely rely on the feedback that is being given, because oneself is like the best teacher.
One
and
has to evaluate oneself.
Yes, truly.
Because you know your strengths and weaknesses.
I think so these 2 things which are very fundamental, and which I think the person who gets selected, every topper keeps saying. And yet somehow I was missing out on these things. So somehow
syllabus को छोड़ना नहीं है. Like you missed out on governance
and society
and yes, we need to do end-to-end syllabus. Completely. That is first.
There is no single textbook that is available for these parts. We have to prepare them from a number of sources. But one needs to do like dedicated preparation for them. That is must.
And what was your strategy for mains?
I think I also couldn't clear the first mains, and I got like around 380 in mains, which was not a good score at that point of the time. So I made a lot of changes in my mains preparation. Specific to GS, the first thing I did was I joined 2 test series. The reason being, because when you're getting opinion from the one test series, you tend to get inclined towards their methodology of checking, which is not good, because you have to prepare from a broader point of view. So with 2 test series, I had like, suppose I had prepared for GS1, so I used to take 2 tests at that day. One from one test series, the another one from another test series. So when both of these are evaluated on the same day, I would get to know that okay, you performed equally in both the tests.
Yes.
But these are the kind of comments which are converging comments. So these are the things you must improve upon. And if someone is giving very specific comments which I can't agree to, and another one hasn't given that comment, then maybe I can neglect that one.
Yes.
So I think I used that strategy for the answer writing. Second thing which was main I did was कि, as you said, that in the GS syllabus there are so many topics and the material is so segregated that you can't expect yourself to learn the facts from that book, example from that book, or something from the monthly or something like that. So you can't be expected to do that. So what I did was, for every syllabus topic, I wrote like around 2 or 3 sheets of notes. Like for example, there is health sector in GS2. So what I would do is write facts, then 3 or 4 facts, then examples, 3 or 4 examples. Then about the main body, I would write like political, what is the impact, social, what is the impact, what is another impact, and the end, what is the conclusion, what are the steps that are being taken by the government, what are the way forward or the next steps that can be taken. So I used to prepare 3 or 4 sheets on each and every topic that is mentioned in the syllabus. So I think that helped me to aggregate my material. So whenever the question was asked, which is indirectly from the health sector, I could derive my material from that source. So that really helped me.
Yeah, ultimately one thing is whatever content you prepare, you should revise it.
Yes.
So it should be in a very compact format.
It should be.
It should be very
It should be.
compact, and
I
then
think-
end-to-end syllabus is must.
Yes.
You
completely.
cannot skip anything. We can write it there, and
I
then
think-
answer writing.
Yeah,
Practice
very much,
specifically
very
for
much.
society questions, it seems that we can write.
Yeah.
Like, because like anyone, if we ask those questions, they would know something about caste system, family, and all those things which come in society. However, we need some dedicated preparation for
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
nothing can be left to like that we will be able
I think
to
this
do
is a
it.
mistake that is done by many aspirants, that they
candidates, yeah.
ignore the topics like women. But see, everyone will be able to write that average answer. So if you want to get good marks, your answer should be exceptional. There should be 1 or 2 points which other person might not be writing.
Might not be writing,
So that needs preparation.
Yeah, even UPSC is asking you such a simple questions,
Yes, yes.
and that too would be administrators, so they must be looking for something extraordinary.
Yes.
So we need to prepare for that.
Completely.
Yes. And then how about ethics? Because it's again a completely different preparation.
Yeah, for ethics, this was the only part for which I joined classes. I joined a coaching, and I had not taken any full-time coaching for entire GS.
Great. So you have done it at your own.
Yes, ma'am.
So it can be done.
Yeah, yes, certainly it can be.
It
done.
can be done. Yes.
One thing that I did for ethics part was that I had made short notes of all the terms, definitions of all the terms, and some
Syllabus.
examples.
Yes.
And maybe some questions also which keep coming, like difference between honesty, integrity, and all those things. So I had made a small notes, and in between the GS3 and GS4, I went through all my notes. Like there was time, so those examples, those definitions, those terms which are very important for the ethics paper, they were fresh in my memory, and to some extent, I think that worked.
And how was your strategy for essay?
Essay, ma'am, I think what mistake I was doing in the earlier attempts was that I was not covering
Practicing.
all the topics. Like earlier, I had prepared most of the technology related topics and not women related topics. But last to last year, like there were some women related very easy questions, women related, education
Yes,
related.
gender
there were.
related questions.
So
were there.
this time I had done this, like this time there were many philosophical related questions. So this time I made sure that I had covered all the topics, and I practiced some questions from each of them, prepared some starting and some endings and some examples. I think after that one can write a decent essay.
Yeah, and Khushboo, how did you prepare for these two papers?
For ethics, I think the same strategy, that for every topic that is mentioned in the syllabus, so I wrote their definitions, the example that is related to that, my own example, as well as the example which is already there in the society. So because sometimes they ask that give your example, give your real life example.
And I think
So
writing your own example can
Really,
give you some
yeah.
like extra marks.
Yes.
yeah, so this is very
Because
much
that would be
necessary.
unique.
Exactly. See, ethics is something I feel that it can be prepared from a book. It can't be. So it has to be your own subject. So you have to prepare your own notes, your own definitions. I know everyone says that, but nobody does that. Because we take it very lightly that no, we'll read that definition from the book. But ultimately you have to sit down and write that definition in your own terms. So that really helped me in ethics. For essay, again, I made notes. For example, during the test series, you came across the topics like women, or there can be anything specific to women, but the general topic was women. So what I did was I took out a sheet, and about women I wrote that what are the possible introductions that I know, any quote that I know, what can be there in the body, for example, social angle, religious angle, legal angle, something like that. What could be the possible endings to that? So I did that for around, I think, 40 to 50 topics. Like you can always broadly categorize the topic.
Yes.
So that really helped me, because whenever the topic comes, you can derive your data, your material from that source.
And even every other economic survey and all
Yeah,
those,
yeah.
those
So,
data
yes,
are
data
also
comes
very
from there.
helpful for writing your
so
essays.
if that is not written in the topic itself, you will not remember it at the right point of the time. So if economic survey has said something on the employment, you must ensure that it is there in the employment sector of your notes.
Yes.
Otherwise, you won't remember it.
Yeah.
So I think that helped.
And then the final stage of personality test. So this was the first time both of you
Yeah.
appeared
Yes,
before
ma'am.
the
Yes.
board.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So how was your experience at the board?
Like I got Sujata Mehta ma'am's board, and she has given me really good marks.
Yeah, marks are out also
Yeah,
yesterday.
So I think that
How many marks did you get?
I got 198.
Very good marks.
Yes.
Highest, I think cutoff is 206 this time.
Because I think the highest marks in interview is
206,
yeah.
and you have almost got the one of the highest marks,
Yeah.
you can say. Yes.
So I think what some things are very obvious, and everyone will know, like prepare for your DAF and like do some speaking practice in front of the mirror and record your own videos and evaluate those videos. I think one or two things I can add is that, like, be very truthful. I'm telling this from my own experience. Like she asked me that what about placements, and I said, ma'am, I did not sit for placements. And earlier before that I had said that coming to civil services was my childhood dream. So there was consistency in what I was saying.
Yes.
I think these things matter a lot. Secondly, like there is a lot of time you enter into the UPSC building at 1 o'clock, and in my interview was at 5 o'clock, 5:30. So remain hydrated and keep eating something so that you look very fresh and you're not very tired.
You should be
Because
calm.
After
cool,
all, that
yeah.
also matters when
Yeah.
you're going ahead in front of the board. And third thing I would say, like, be very calm. Although I know that, like, when someone is going ahead of the interview, it's such an important day. Many of us are getting this opportunity after 2 years, after 3 years of preparation, and we know that pressure is always there, that we need to, this is the last step that we need to clear. Yet I would say, by remaining calm, you would be able to listen to them more carefully and answer them to the point, and definitely it matters a lot. That if you like
So,
remain
did you
calm.
go for some mock interviews also before the final interview at the board?
Yes, ma'am. I took many mock interviews. Although I would recommend
Not
candidates
many.
not to take more than 4 or 5 mock interviews. This was a mistake I did, that I took a lot of mock interviews, because many would be offering at no cost. So, so one should not like go for too many mocks.
So, how was your experience at NEXTIAS?
The setting of NEXTIAS is closest to the actual UPSC setting, because that the rooms and the formal setup, infrastructure, that is like excellent, and actually closest to the UPSC.
And the 5-member board.
5-member board.
Yeah.
In some of the coachings there were only 2 members, 3 members, so that thing is there.
And what about you? How did you prepare? Was there any specific, again, note writing?
No. I think for interview there wasn't any note writing, but definitely yes, I had to prepare for my DAF. So I prepared a set of questionnaire, their answers. But I think mock interviews are really helpful in the interview. So I couldn't have expected to, since I think I can speak for myself that it was my first interview. So I need to have that, one sort of an exposure, that how does it look to be over there, or how do you sound. So you should have a video also, that how do you sound over there, are you moving your eyebrows, are you moving your lips, or there are many things that you're doing which might come to you natural, but which are not acceptable in a formal setting. So for that I think NEXTIAS really helped me. So I remember I also got very good marks in the mocks over there. So the 5-member board, that table, I think mine was exactly the same setting which I received at NEXTIAS.
Okay.
That same ma'am was sitting. So I think that was very helpful, and especially the board members at NEXTIAS were also very cordial. I remember meeting I think A.K. Malhotra sir. So he was very, he was very polite to me. He even gave me very good remarks. So that really boosted my confidence that, it's okay to be first timer in the interview, but it's not okay to, accept your defeat before that.
Yes.
So just be calm, be confident, and be humble. So that really helped me.
And another thing with respect to overall preparation of civil service examination is current affairs. Be it your prelims, be it your mains, be it your interviews, or personality test. So how did you prepare for that? Because the market is full of current material.
Tell me about it.
So,
Seriously.
How did you prepare for that?
I think one should not see current affairs separately from the overall preparation,
Yes.
because it has to be integrated with the overall notes what one is making and the overall preparation. So I was referring to vision current affair magazines. Otherwise one can refer to any other also. So apart from that, daily newspaper reading, and at the end of the month just read the compilation. And
So were you making your own notes as well?
yes, I was trying to that I will add some material from those magazines into my own notes, so that I have only one set of notes which I have to revise and not the monthly magazines of every month. So yes, I was trying that.
And how about you, Khushboo?
So I made notes in my first attempt, but personally I realized that it was wasting a time of mine, and I was not able to revise those. And if you're not revising those, I think it's completely useless and a
Yes.
complete wastage of time. So I relied mostly on the monthly booklets. But what I used to do was, for example, before starting anything about the current affairs, I used to consult two or three of my seniors, which I used to completely trust. And I asked them that what sources should I follow. So they gave me a list and I choose from that list. But later on, if anybody said that, okay, no, this magazine is good, no, this material is good, as you said, that there is a lot of material that is coming in the market.
Okay.
So I always thought that is the noise that is coming in. You have to filter that.
Yeah.
You have given the time to choose the resources. Now you have chosen the resources. Now don't look what else is there in the market.
Yeah.
Because see, every day something new is coming and you will always find something useful in that. So I would say
Yeah.
that. So it is always very attractive. But have confidence in whatever you have chosen. Do a little research before choosing, but after that just be confident in whatever you have chosen and completely stick to that.
one source,
Yes.
or limit. The sources should be limited
Completely.
and lot of revision.
Yes,
Completely.
That is the main
Yes.
key. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, the prelims are approaching. Both of you, could you share something specific to the future aspirants?
I would say one thing, after all the preparation is over, even then you cannot assure yourself that 100% you will clear the prelims examination. But one thing that might actually help you is the temperament. When you go into the exam hall, then just tell yourself how important this exam is for you. Even if you are going it for the first time, this is your first attempt, then never keep that thing in mind that this is just my first attempt and I'm only giving it a try. Have that temperament that this is do or die situation and I have to do my best till the last moment. I'll keep struggling and keep doing my best. That can actually make a difference. That can actually take you you would not realize at that time that even if you were not completely prepared, but later on when the marks would come, when the results would come, you would see that you have cleared it by a great margin. So I would tell
There's no point wasting your attempt.
Yeah,
Every
exactly,
attempt
exactly.
should be taken as
As
a
a
very
serious
serious
attempt.
attempt.
Yes.
Yeah, and anything specific would you like to share?
I think adding to that, what worked for me was the confidence. So since I already devoted 3 months to the prelims preparation completely, I would tell myself in the last days that Khushboo, you have devoted a lot of time to the prelims. Very few people do that. So you would be clearing it. Because see, in the prelims you're doing a guesswork, so you need to have confidence in your guessing also. When you're guessing, otherwise you will be jumbled over there. You'll be, instead of C, you will be taking A or something. You will be doing these things. But when you have confidence that you're telling yourself that no, I have prepared to my full potential, now I have to just give it back to the exam. So I think that really worked for me. So no matter how much I scored, I always used to go with the confidence. No, you are always topping the exam.
Yeah, that confidence should be there.
In the prelims especially.
And every competition tests your mental strength.
Yes.
Yeah, and that confidence also comes with your homework.
Yeah, it does.
Preparation.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is.
It can't be on a baseless.
Yeah,
It can't be baseless. So it has
the thing
to
is,
be.
you have to prepare and then be confident,
Yeah.
not over or under.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was nice talking to both of you, Khushboo and Chahat, and wish you to see at the top in the bureaucracy, doing good
Thank
work
you.
for the country. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so
ma'am.
much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.